Now we're going to talk about duplication, diversification, and dice combinations. So let's begin with the dice combinations. Well, backgammon is a dice game. You have 2 dice. Therefore, it's really important to be able to predict the future one step ahead by knowing how to count dice combinations. Luckily, it's actually not very difficult because each die has only 6 sides on it. They have the same probability of outcome. So there are just some rules to remember, and I'm going to teach you here a technique of how to count them. So let's have a look at this position here. Let's do it by example. So you have a closed home board and you have a shot at my blot here on my 9 points. So if you roll a deuce, you will win the game. It's basically a winning shot. So what's the likelihood or what's the probability here of rolling a deuce? One of the tricks in backgammon is to never really do probability calculations. What we do is simply just count combinations. That's much easier than computing probabilities. 2 dice have 6 sides each, which means you have a total of 36 different outcomes by rolling 2 dice. The question is, how many of them hit a single shot? Well, let's count them out. It's everything including a 2. So there's 1, 2, and because you have 2 dice, that imagine like you have a white die and a black die, then the white die could be 1 and the black die could be 2, or it could be the other way around where the black die is 1 and the white die is 2. Both of these combinations work in the game of backgammon. It's the same roll, but it's 2 combinations out of 36. So we have 2, 1, that's 2 combinations. Then we have, I'm going to save the double 2 for the end. Then we have 2, 3, that's 2 more combinations. Then we have 2, 4, 2 more combinations. We have 2, 5, 2 more combinations, and we have 2, 6, 2 more combinations. That's 10 combinations, and then we had double 2. Well, double 2 is only 1 combination out of 36 because each die specifically has to be a 2. So we had 10 non-doubles and we had 1 double. Actually, all of the doubles are just 1 out of 36. So a total of 11 out of 36 dice combinations hit this checker, right? So that's actually also a probability, but I never really use probabilities. I just use combinations. So here you have 11 out of 36. Okay, what if this checker was here? Well, you could do exactly the same exercise with a 3 instead of a 2. That's still 11. A single shot with no additionals is always 11 out of 36. But here you do have an additional, because here you have everything including a 3, which is 11 out of 36, plus 2, 1. 2, 1, that could be 1, 1, 2, or 2, 1. So that's another 2. So you add the 2 additionals to the 11, and you have 13 winning shots. What if it's up here? Now you have to roll a 6 to hit the winning shot, or you have actually a lot more additionals. Again, we don't have to count the direct shot. We know that's 11 out of 36, so all we have to do is count the additionals. So that would be 5, 1 and 1, 5. That's 2. It's 4, 2 and 2, 4. And now we get into double 3. That's only 1 combination. And double 2 also hits. So 6 additionals. So we add the 6 to the 11 and we get 17 out of 36 winning shots from here. So you're almost 50-50. 1 combination away from being 50-50. So that's how we use our fingers to count the dice combinations. I call it Marc's finger counting. It's as simple as that. Let's take a look at this bear-off example here. So as you can see, we are now in the very latest stage of the end game. Each player just have a few checkers left. And now you have a 6-1 to play. So the 6 is forced, right? We take off the 6 and now you have 2 choices with the ace. You could either play 5-4 and end up with this, or you could play 3-2 and end up with this. This problem is purely mathematical, right? But again, we don't use calculations, we just use combinations. That's the trick. You want to make the move that increases your dice combinations of taking both checkers off in the next roll. So why don't we try to count how many rolls that works either way. Let's begin with this ace. Now we're assuming that I roll a non-double, and now you have a chance to win the game. So here, how many, okay, I roll a non-double. How many dice combinations work? Let's count them. Okay, we begin from the bottom and when we go up. So we have 4-3 and 3-4. We have 5-3 and 3-5. We have 6-3 and 3-6. We have 4-5 and 5-4. 4-6 and 6-4. 5-6 and 6-5. That's all the non-doubles. And now we go through the doubles, which ones work. All the doubles except for double 1. So double 2, double 3, double 4, double 5, double 6. A total of 17 out of 36. Dice combinations work. Right? So 17 out of 36. Let's see if the other one is better. So let's see if we have fewer or more dice combinations here that work. We begin from the bottom again. So it's 2-5 and 5-2, 2-6, 6-2, 3-5, 5-3, 3-6, 6-3, 4-5, 5-4, 4-6, 6-4, 5-6, 6-5, and that's all the non-doubles. We're up to 14. And all of the doubles work here except for double 1. So that's double 2, double 3, double 4, double 5, double 6. 19 fingers out of 36. So with this move, you get 19 out of 36 good rolls. While if you do this one, you only get 17 out of 36. So you see, we use our counting technique to figure out what's the best play. And actually, it's a blunder to make this play because you have 2 out of 36 less winning combinations. That's actually significant, right? That's 5.5% or 5.6%. So it's really important that you know how to count the dice combinations here and make the best play. This is the best play. Let's have a look at this position here. So you're on the bar. Usually that means trouble. But actually in this position, you're not in trouble because you have a perfectly strong home board here. And I have 2 blots, which means you have a double shot from the bar. And the question is, what's the likelihood of you hitting one of these 2 blots here? Because that would be a game-winning shot. So let's count it out. We know already that a direct shot is 11 out of 36. Now we have a double shot. Does that mean you just double it up to 22 out of 36? Not quite, because while we were counting the 5s, we already counted 2 combinations that includes a 4, namely 5-4 and 4-5. So when we count these 11 and then we keep on counting over here, we already counted 2 of those 11 from the 4. So that's an extra 9, not an extra 11. So a total of 11 plus 9, 20 hitting shots. That's actually a great thing to remember. A single shot is always 11. A double shot is always 20 out of 36. But here we have some additionals as well, right? Some indirect hits. We could roll 2-3 or 3-2. That's an extra 2 additionals. And we could roll double 2. That's an extra 1 addition. That's 1 additional dice combination. So those 3 dice combinations, we add them to the 20 of the double shot, and we get a total of 23 game-winning shots. 23 out of 36. You're actually a big favorite here. So if we're playing with the doubling cube, you could even double. But we're not going to talk about the doubling cube in this strategy in this course. That's going to be for a later course. But by counting the dice combinations, you recognize you're actually a big favorite here to win the game. Let's do another example here where we are using our knowledge of dice combination to find the best play. So this position, you are stuck here behind my gapped 5' here, and so am I. I'm also stuck here behind your gapped 5'. And you have a 5-1 to play. So how to play 5-1? Remember, you can pause the video if you need more time to think. But basically the first move we can eliminate from the process is anything that includes this 5. It's just too loose. Now I can attack you with an ace, with a 6, with a 4, and with a 3. So that's a little bit too loose. If I attack you, I can close you out, and I have plenty of time to escape your prime here. So that's not the right idea. The second idea we can eliminate is slotting the 5 point. It's just too loose as well. If you get hit with a 4, you basically lose the game. While if you just allow me to split with a 4, then you can attack me there. So the right idea is not to slot the 5 point. We don't want to eliminate structure either, right? So we don't want to make a play like this or something like that. We're already owning the 8 point. It's part of our priming structure. Don't break your priming structure. Which basically by the process of elimination leaves us with anything moving our checkers out here. So the 5, I guess, is going to be played like this with certainty. Now the question is, which ace is better? This ace or that ace? Let's use the dice combination technique to figure out how likely it is that you get hit. If we play this ace, no, actually let's count the other one first. Let's say we play this ace here. How often do you get hit? Well, you need to count the dice combinations here. What is it? It's a 4 and a 5. Well, that's 2 combinations out of 36, right? 4, 5, and 5, 4. Okay, what if you make the other ace? This one. What hits? It's a double 4. That's only 1 combination out of 36. So this must be the best play. You minimize the chance of getting hit by 1 out of 36. Instead of leaving 2, you just leave 1 combination out of 36. That's the best play. Using our dice combination technique to find the best play. Now we're going to talk about a concept called duplication. And this is really cool. We are exploiting the knowledge we just got from the dice combinations. Duplication means that you duplicate a specific dice number of your opponent's dice in order to minimize the total number of good rolls that they have. So instead of diversifying it and giving him multiple dice combinations that works, you unite them and just duplicate exactly one of his dice numbers. So let's have a look at this example here and see how it works. So you have a 4 prime, you have a nice advanced anchor. I'm still trapped on the 24 point. You would like to keep it that way and even extend your prime. And I have this weakness here in my board right now. I have a blot, so if you were to get hit in this roll, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And you basically have 2 ways of playing this 3-1. You could play it safe by clearing the 8 point. But that's undesirable, right? Because we're breaking structure. We had 2 perfectly utilized checkers, and now we're turning them into spare checkers where they're less utilized. And we don't want to break structure, especially a nice pure point as the 8 point. So we don't like that. Let's move it back. Okay, so what else do we have? Well, it would be nice if we could play the ace here, because that creates a lot of flexibility, right? But then the problem is, what about the 3? But hang on. If you look at the entire board, you see that over here on my side, I really want to play an ace like this, because that's how I utilize my checkers well and build a point, right? I could also do it with a 3, which is also good, but it's not as good because I'm using my last spare checker and I didn't unstack my heavy stack here. So I have a great desire to play an ace like this next turn. You can exploit that by making this move with a 3. Because being alone here on the midpoint is actually not dangerous, because you are duplicating my ace. What does that mean? Well, look, I have to use an ace if I want to hit. And I don't really want to hit, because look how many blots I have everywhere now. You can hit me back with a 5, with a 6, or a 5 here, and 3 blots. So if I roll an ace, I really want to do this. So even if I decide to hit, you still duplicated it, because it's not that much better for me to hit than it would be to cover. So this is a very sneaky strategy, or tactic, let's say, not strategy, it's a tactic that you're maneuvering in this very moment here. you're duplicating my ace. So in order to maximize your flexibility, here you get a great position. You keep your 4 prime, you have great flexibility, and you're exploiting the fact that I badly need an ace here to also give me an ace here. So the overall number of dice combinations that are good for me, it stays the same because the ace is already good. And you didn't give me more dice combinations. It's not like you're diversifying it, it's the same. So that's a very sneaky tactic. It's called duplication. Let's look at another example of duplication because this is such a cool idea. Okay, so now we are in this position here. It's still in stage 1, the middle game, and you have a 6-5 to play. So you have, I would say, 3 different ways of playing it. You're gonna leave a shot either way. You cannot safety this guy and that guy at the same time. You have to leave something open. So you could do this, 6 and then 5. It's not a particularly desirable move, right? Because this is a dilly builder. We prefer to not move it past the point we make, and it's not that useful. This front-loaded, we prefer back-loaded spare checkers. But you could do it. Now you get hit with a deuce. Or you could perhaps do this, cover, and then play the 6 here. Now you get hit with an ace and with a 3. So that's 2 different dice combinations. So here you're diversifying. But what if we play 6 and this 5? We still have 2 blots, but look, we've duplicated my 2s. I need a 2 to hit you there, and I need a 2 to hit you there. So rather than diversifying my total number of good rolls, you're minimizing it because you're duplicating. It's already hitting. So you can put it there for free. It's only if I roll double 2 that I can hit both checkers, which of course happens 1 in 36. But for all the rest of the other 2s, you don't get hit more. So this is the best play, right? I'm exploiting your dice combinations, or you are exploiting my upcoming dice combinations by duplicating my 2 and thereby minimizing my overall good dice combinations. Very sneaky.